Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got ourselves Team Liquid's Clem in the top right side of the map for the very first opening match at Ham Cup. He's up against Sandstorm Gaming's MaxPax. And this is going to be an exciting match because they've been going back and forth 50-50 in their recent matches. But if you go back all time, Clem is the big leader. He's got a 63% head-to-head advantage. And I just feel like once he gets going, he's hard to stop. I really feel like Clem is just a problem, man. I feel like he's just a problem. Don't troll the audience, Dot. He's such a problem. So for those who don't know, we're just watching live. We just had some ads playing at the very start of it, and that kind of just trolling people by pretending the probe's actually achieving something when it's not. But to, of course, talk to you all watching after the fact and everyone else, let's talk about the game. Basically, if you let Clem get ahead, he's impossible to beat in this matchup. He will take a 4th command center earlier than other players. He will do all sorts of fancy thingamajigs where he basically just outpositions you with Biomine. Has ghosts everywhere, he MPs you, and he does that thing where he split pushes on 2 sides and the Protoss simply does not have a chance to deal with it. Shield battery going up in the main as well as a low ground gate, so this is going to be an earlier depth pressure. MaxPax is banking on getting some damage done, hoping to get the SCV on the command center. But I don't know. Is that an early enough adept? I think it should get over there just before the CC finishes, but this is such a big map, it might not. Shield battery is going to finish in 8 seconds. I like that MaxPax is hiding the weak probe. Reaper coming in. He's looking for that damage right now. Nice. Oh, 1 probe does go down. Good pullback micro by MaxPax, but ooh, 1 probe still does go down. Another one chased a little far. The bunker's definitely going to get up, and he's actually building 2 Marines before reactor. The Gumiho special here. Clem going to be very safe with that. And looks like the SCV will get delayed on the command center, but the Marines push out. Nice micro by Clem. Really nice micro by Clem. Well worth losing a Marine to get that building again. And the Reaper with the intercept, but the Adept should be able to get the punish. I think it just barely gets a hit off here. Yeah, it's a little faster. The Reaper not able to regen in time. The Adept does take it out. A little bit of damage done by MaxPax, but no big delay. And this does slow down his opening a little bit. His Twilight Council's behind, all that sort of stuff. He could rally the Stalker across as well. Looks like he's going to. So at least he does deny a little bit more mining time. But 1 SCV, 1 Reaper, 1 Marine. Remember, it's not just the Adept that you lose, but it's also the opportunity cost. Going for such a fast Cybercore and having to send your probe to the natural to build the gateway at the start of the game as well. It all does cost you a fair bit of cash. Hellion's going to be coming down here and chasing after, trying to get a few more hits on that, but doesn't want to waste too much time repairing the Hellion for now. 3 Marines and a Hellion. He's getting a bit excited. Clem's trying to chase down the Adept, and actually MaxPax stayed here a little bit too long. Oh, so close to getting the Hellion. I think that was an okay trade for MaxPax if he kills the Hellion. As it is, I mean, the Hellion probably can't really scout too much. If you can intercept it, that would be fantastic, because that Hellion will see if there's a 3rd base timing, and great move by MaxPax to intercept. Even better move by Clem to spot it and react in time, but he's not able to spot the other 3rd. That's a problem, because Clem right now wants to know, am I getting 4-gate blinked? Is this 4-gate blink? Is there a 3rd base down? He has no information, and as a result, on this map, he really should be playing safe. We can see, of course, it is 3-gate blink right now. 3-gate blink Robo is going to be interesting. This is an opening where it's kind of in between. It's not that committed. He's just looking to shut down the Widowmine drop and move into a macro game by the looks of it. Not that heavy pressure, but I don't think Clem's playing too safe. He's got a bunker at the front. His tanks aren't particularly early. He's committing to a double Widowmine drop. Stalkers are in position. Uh-oh. Good pullback by Clem. Blink is not quite ready. That is, of course, the delay on the blink there by doing these modern safe openings with the kind of quicker Cybercore Chronoing Adepts delaying the Twilight Council. It does mean you don't have those, remember those old school builds where people used to go 1-gate Twilight Robo. They'd always have Blink done at 440. That's not the case anymore. Medevac goes down. Juicy pickoff. Oh, he does lose a Stalker. Unfortunate. And there we go. Nice. Blink kicks in, baits the other one. 3rd base is on the way behind. It seems like a pretty good opening for MaxPax. And remember, Clem has died to so many of his 4-gate Blink builds recently. I'm actually surprised he isn't building a bunker on the high ground just out of fear. But Raven's going to go across the map. He will spot the 3rd base in the near future. Looks like it's going to be 4 Stalkers plus these 5. So 9 Stalker pressure coming in. And Clem's just playing that standard 3-rack style. I like the way his tanks are layered to defend each other. He's actually weakest on his natural right now, where that bunker is. But he's got mass SCVs ready to repair. Depot goes down without getting cancelled. That's some value. Raven's going to fight back. MaxPax with a quick response. He'll lose 2 probes, but that's not the end of the world. The Stalker's diving on the natural. He sees the repair on the bunker, so he dives past. He loses 2 Stalkers for the siege tank. The other tank on the high ground, though, is doing great damage. Those Stalkers on the natural are getting blasted. The Stalkers in the main are trading. They got to get out of there, man. This is a lot of damage going down. I think the Raven came back in as well. No, it did not. It just got the initial 2 probes. 8 Stalkers went down for a tank and a couple of units. That is a lot of Stalkers. Remember, guys, TVP is all about killing Stalkers. If you guys want to look at one simple thing in this matchup to see how it's going, is Protoss losing Stalkers? If they are, they're probably losing the game. That's usually the case it is. So MaxPax is going to look for more damage now because he's desperate. He's hungry for it. He finds a bunker. Not really that important. The SCV is much more valuable. 5 SCVs, great micro. And a little lazy for Clem to be that far out of position. Does have 2 siege tanks, but not really covering his bases as best as he could. With a shield battery in each mineral line, that's going to cover him versus auto turrets. MaxPax is solid versus that. He's on 54 workers with a 3rd base mining. So you can always look at this and say, well, isn't he out scaling Clem? And 6 gates, +1, Immortals charge. I mean, all those things are good. Let's look at the unit count. 17 Marines, 5 Marauders, first 2 medevacs hitting the field. Does feel like splash damage is very far away for MaxPax in this game, and he's still committing to a lot of Stalkers on the front lines. Observer does get scanned and taken out right there. All right, Stalker drop's going to go in the main base. Let's go. +1 weapons is on the way as well. 4 Stalkers and a War Prism is there. A Stalker on the right side, making sure no drops slide out. Going to grab another Marine. MaxPax's pretty good at picking up value here. And he does opt for a Robo Bay and a 4th gas behind it. That Raven's still just hanging out. If it sits there for another minute or 2, it will be able to drop a whole bunch of auto turrets. If you go for like 4 auto turrets, you really can get quite a lot done. 2 Stalkers going down. Well worth a stim for Clem. 10 Stalkers have died in this game, and that is really very powerful for him. Oh, look at this bio count. 9 Marauders, 22 Marines. You can be into Zealots and Sentries all day, but it does feel like MaxPax has maybe lost a few too many Stalkers without getting enough counter damage. Colossus are a while away. I think he might be feeling forced to go for a Desperation Disruptor here instead. Good blink back micro. Gets another Widow Mine there. Only loses 1 Stalker for a Marauder or 2 and a Widow Mine. Prism comes in. He's going to go for that counter Zealot drop. This is such a common piece of the puzzle for Protoss players. Terran's so used to dealing with it, but he actually doesn't really have anything there this time around. Over at the 3rd base, the bio's coming forward. Big SCV pull for Clem. Looking to put the hurt on MaxPax right here. The Zealots pull back. The Raven does get sniped down. Shield battery is going to get taken out. Giving up the bases is probably the smart move here for MaxPax. Just get the probes out of there. You'll be okay if you can hold on, but his Colossus is still miles away. And the thing is, remember, Clem can send the SCVs home. After killing the 3rd, he's kind of like, well, I don't need to be all in anymore. I could go back to building workers, which I'm doing right now. Send the SCVs home. He's not making that choice just yet. That Colossus, it's a few seconds away. He needs it so badly. Does MaxPax. Takes a few whopping tank shots. Colossus is going to start working through those SCVs on the left, but it doesn't have a lot of units supporting it. He's pulling probes with the Colossus. Oh my god, MaxPax looking a little desperate right now. Clem is far ahead in this game in terms of army supply. 95 versus 69. The power of memes is the one thing that MaxPax is hoping for right now. 69 army supply. Let's go. Nope. He pulls in. He pulls out. The Robo's too exposed. He doesn't want to start a new unit on that, but he's supply blocked right now. He has to go soon. Otherwise, he's not going to have a chance. Zealots coming in from both sides. He's trying to get on top of those tanks. The SCV hold position is really good in that top right of the fight. Colossus only hitting Marauders on the bottom left, and MaxPax does go down. Clem with a fantastic Game 1 victory. All right, a very nice Game 1 victory there for Team Liquid's Clem going into Map 2 on Aggressivin. He's been looking bloody good in that one, but he's about to deal with the MaxPax build. An old school proxy gate coming in for MaxPax. Pylon at home into Pylon on the other side of the map. So the Pylon at home is just so he can keep building probes, and he's of course going to go for the Cybercore back at home. Now, I think in that last game, really, it was okay for MaxPax to not commit so hard to the Stalkers. Definitely the tank dive on the natural was kind of cute, but he didn't quite have the numbers to like just two-shot the tank and get out. And overcommitted in the main at the same time a little bit. So, I mean, MaxPax is so good at that multitasking and finding wins in those scenarios. But I've noticed that Clem has lost so many games to it, he's very safe. Like, he's basically always got his tanks here, in range of each other. So if you jump on one, you're always getting punished by the other tank. And you might pick off like that depot that he killed up for free in the main, the bunker in the natural, a few SCVs, maybe on the gas on the natural. Those things, Clem's okay to lose those. As long as he never loses his tanks, protects his production and his tanks, he's going to break out. So I really would have loved to see MaxPax basically just chip at the edges a little bit and mix it up. Easy for me to say. I get to see everything. He doesn't. You know, his observer got scanned down as well in that game. But I think that was after he'd committed pretty much. Probe here doing a nice bit of harassment. I do like the early probe harass. And the funny thing is there is an SCV going across the map. So I think MaxPax saw that. Let's go to Clem's vision and see when he realizes there's going to be a Zealot. Usually it's 2 Zealots and then a Stalker. He sees the Nexus is a little late. He immediately hops off with that SCV off the command center and starts building a bunker. Oh, wow. Okay, brings another SCV down. He knows that there's a Zealot coming in. Second Zealot's close behind it. Cybercore is almost finished. And MaxPax, he's already got 1 SCV deep in the red. The bunker's only about halfway built. More SCVs being pulled. A lot of SCVs. Great response by Clem. And that's kind of what you're looking for, but he didn't actually start building the bunker. Uh-oh. You gotta watch out here. He didn't start building the bunker. And the Zealot's starting to get a lot of damage on these SCVs. He does get another one. If he can get rid of one of the Marines or the Reapers, that would be great. The Stalker, though, still a few seconds behind. It is here. And he's going to be getting that pressure on. Remember that this is a very economic build because you don't build a gateway at home. It's just a 1-gate expand with a slightly delayed expansion and a very aggressive positioning. But that Reaper's going to punish this. Clem, he knows his numbers. He knows that Reaper beats the Stalker when it's that low. Just barely gets it without taking the last hit. Reaper immediately starts injecting those combat drugs, healing up. The Adept, of course, can try to get damage, but now that the bunker's finished, that was a very good hold. That being said, Clem lost a lot of mining time. He had to pull a lot of boys for that. He lost a lot of minerals, and basically MaxPax has to recall the Adept or just keep his probes in his main. He hasn't recalled it yet. What's he doing? MaxPax, you knew that Reaper was coming across the map, didn't you? MaxPax being a little sleepy today. Oh no, maybe he spent his energy or something. He didn't recall. The Adept manages to get in there and deny some mining. But he should not have had his probes on his natural if he wasn't going to immediately recall. Ah, that's a big mistake there for MaxPax. Clem gets himself a nice advantage. And, oh, the Adept does get the SCV. There we go. Ooh, very nice. Hellion does take down the Adept there. New one does come in. But it feels like Clem's winning this this micro war. These pressures recently have not been finding the mark. And this has been the big problem for Protoss players recently. Is Terrans are getting away with very standard openings with very few safety precautions, reacting very late with things like bunkers, and they're not getting punished. It used to be that Terrans weren't able to defend this, but guys like Clem are just so comfortable chilling out and defending this sort of build these days. 3-gate Adept coming in, though. Getting 2 Marines before they get to the bunker is big. This seems to have caught Clem off guard, even though he saw the gateways. He did see. I was like wondering for a second. I was like, didn't he see those gateways? He did see the 3-gate follow-up. But he's a little slow to respond. Those Adepts denying mining time. And he's got a robo up behind this as well. He stopped probing and no pylons building. So MaxPax has got to be careful to not freeze up on that. Stalker's coming, stopping off some SCVs. Gotta be careful. The Widow Mine's so scary. There's very little damage output here, though, for Clem. And his ramp is kind of pinned as well. If he moves the Widow Mines across the map with the medevac, then he can't really defend his ramp. So I think this is a great position to be in right now for MaxPax. He's going to warp in 2 more Stalkers or 3 in the main, as well as unloading 2 more. That's enough to start going to town. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Clem's in trouble right here. The medevac's going to get 2 shot. Nope. Good pullback by Clem. There is a Widow Mine there, but it's not too important in this fight. Stalkers try to focus the tank. The SCVs and the Marines cover it. The medevac's there as well for the pickup. That's a dangerous pickup. If you pick that up, that's 31 hit points, you know. Nice pullback by MaxPax. He knew the tank would siege. He's going to go back in. More Stalkers warping in. He is on 2 mineral lines versus only 1 mining right now. Mules are good, but I don't know if they make up for that economic deficit. This fight's very important. Stalkers will take out the siege tank. 3 Stalkers deep in the red, but Marines are such a trash unit without upgrades. They need those stim and shields upgrades. They just don't have them. Stalkers getting overrun, though. Does lose a few Stalkers there. 3 Stalkers end up going down. And a Widow Mine resecures the natural expand. 1 Adept goes down, but able to kill the Widow Mine. The Adepts here now going to try and shade away. They don't want to stand and fight with all those units. And the Stalkers have gone back to the front. Watch out for the Widow Mine, MaxPax. Oh, he does bait the Widow Mine shot. Picks it up, but there's a Viking there. Viking is going to get the Prism. Oh, Clem's micro is so slick. How does he keep that Viking alive? I mean, he's hanging on for dear life. But I think at this point he's held, and MaxPax needs to pocket it. I think MaxPax needs to put it back in his pants. MaxPax disagrees and says, shut up, pig. I'm going to kill him. Shut up, pig. I got this. He goes in. The Adepts take the first tank shot. Clem retargets on the Stalkers. They accidentally targeted the medevac. Slight mistake there for MaxPax. Killing the tank is all well and good, But, oh, there should have been another tank on the way, but it just started. Clem was being greedy. And so he does take a fair bit of damage, but MaxPax doesn't have a third behind this, you know. I feel like he easily could have got up a third base and been teching forwards, but because he's following a very conservative follow-up, going 4 gas now and committing so much, it does feel like he's had diminishing returns, and this may be the nature of this series. I don't think MaxPax is out or anything. I think he just could have been so far ahead if he transitioned a little earlier, but we'll see how it goes. The Stalkers in the main still finding damage. I mean, don't get me wrong, Clem's position is still heavily compromised. The Raven doesn't have any energy. The tank's coming up here. Stalker's in a Prism. The Viking is there, though. MaxPax hopefully saved 50 energy for recall. He's got to recall these units, man. Oh, he tried to get the Viking. He tried to get the Viking. Doesn't manage to snipe it, though. 6 SCVs into recall. Well worth a Stalker. Great play there by MaxPax. Kind of funny. I feel like MaxPax recently has really embraced the kind of parting mentality of just YOLO with Stalkers every game and make it so Terran can never feel comfortable. And I always feel like he's about to throw the game, but that's how I used to feel watching Parting, right? Every time you'd watch Parting, you'd be like, there's no way this can work. And he'd shove in and he'd kill Terran, and they'd be like, Protoss is so broken, man. And you'd be like, but only he can do it. No one else can do it. I think MaxPax is going for that sort of aura of big boy Protoss play, as we used to call it. He just wants to twist off Clem's important baguette. You know? French people don't like it when someone else breaks their bread, you know? Snaps their baguette in half without their permission. And here we go. Oh, Stalker's taking it. Okay, only one shot. I thought the second shot would go off, but it doesn't. Stalker's there, ready to defend the Reaper. Reaper sees that's a lot of probes already on that third. Clem's like, man, I do not have a third command center started. This is not great. Watch Clem just circle the base and get out alive, man. This is great. That's a Clem Reaper. You know it's a Clem Reaper when it's more annoying than anyone else's Reaper. Nothing really ever hit that home as hard as... Oh, hold that thought. Viking does go down. The blink into the main. The tanks aren't covering it, man. There's only one tank out. It does siege on the ramp. MaxPax has got to get out of there. Oh, God, those are Stim Marauders. Those are Stim Marauders. MaxPax does manage to holster his Stalkers, but he's lost 12 Stalkers in total this game, and I've got to say at this point, once Stim's done and all this sort of stuff, medevacs are about to hit the field. I feel like these units, you've got to not fight right now. I think the window's closed, and at this point, any trade you take has to really be, like, waiting for him to attack you and use your Colossus, use your batteries. This is the point where Terran gets map control. They've got Stim, about to have shields and +1. Medevacs are hitting the field 2 at a time. Clem gets map control, and MaxPax is going to have to hand that torch over. He does have 5 more gateways building, his Colossus and Charge on the way, so he's much further ahead compared to the last game. I like this. Backstabs, chipping away at his opponent. Great way to play. Prism lures the army out of position. Stalkers should just blink in. I think he should just blink into the main there. He's not going to, though. Oh, okay. He's just going to grab a few SCVs and run away. He's got to be careful, though. Look at that. Clem anticipates it. MaxPax. Uh-oh. Oh, too predictable. Too predictable. Remember, recall's still on cooldown from the Prism before, guys. He blinks forward. He gets a tank, though. Oh, Clem. He thinks he's the hunter, but he becomes the hunted, but then MaxPax becomes the hunted once again. Oh, man, this feels pretty bad for MaxPax, guys. Remember what I talked about at the start of this series? How do you know who's winning and losing in PvT? Well, if the Protoss is losing Stalkers, they're probably losing. 20 Stalkers have died this game. A lot of things have gone well for MaxPax. He's got a 3rd up. He's got a 4th on the way. He's ahead on economy. But if he keeps taking trades like that, he will find a way to give up this advantage. And this is something which is the fine line of PvT, is knowing when to trade and avoiding getting punished for being a bit too in your opponent's face, which does feel like he's been a little bit in this game. I like that Clem is building a new Viking. He realizes that MaxPax will never stop dropping him. The Widowmine drop and the Zealot drop do spot each other there. Twitch chat says, a bit of a weird comparison because Parting's a giant cheeser and MaxPax really isn't. Yeah, that's what's so weird about it. That's why it's odd seeing MaxPax put this hat on, isn't it? It's odd seeing MaxPax be so YOLO with his Stalkers in this matchup, but that's also part of why Hero was having success when no one else was. You know, I feel like he just studied the really successful Protoss players, you know, Zest and Hero, and said, oh, okay, I got to do that. And he's become an expert at it. Look at this timing. 3 Colossus. Oh, he dodged one of the matrices there. And Clem just taps. He doesn't even have the numbers. Beautiful play there by MaxPax. He threw away a lot of Stalkers, but he'd built such an advantage off just the tempo with that opening. Never let Clem mine from his natural. Beautiful play. All right, guys, let's get into the next one. MaxPax fighting back with crazy Stalker aggression. Absolutely love it. Down here in the bottom left, we've got Team Liquid's Clem. That was a fun game. I really do feel MaxPax was a little wasteful at a few points with the Stalkers. But other than that, everything else was like just absolutely mint aggression. Really good management of the Zealots. When they pull that many SCVs, it's a fine line between just getting your Zealots instantly surrounded and killed and letting them shut it down and just distracting them and keeping their SCVs off mining long enough. And I think MaxPax did a great job with that, denying the natural with the Adepts, denying the main with the Stalkers. But we've actually just got hot news coming in, guys. A regular in my chat has just said, Pig, did you know the Colossus are at 10 range since the last patch? They got buffed from 9 range once they get the upgrade, not 10. From 9 range to 10. Hopefully that's not me lagging. I don't know who that was. That was not my ping changing, so that was someone else. Sorry, so basically the Colossus got buffed from 9 to 10 range apparently. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to just trust some random guy in chat. And Showtime instantly appears and is like, actually, yeah, I just found out 2 or 3 days ago. It's legitimately 10 range right now. We think it's a bug that somehow, we don't know when this happened, but apparently Colossus is at 10 range at the moment. It's meant to be 7+2. Apparently it's 7+3 right now somehow. So, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if MaxPax is even aware of this. I imagine he probably found out recently as well, since this seems to be going around the community, but Protoss is still getting their butt kicked at the moment. So in this matchup, MaxPax is probably the best PvT player in the world right now. But that Zealot did not achieve anything. Walks across the map, gets shut down. Keep in mind, Clem didn't SCV scout, so very nice of him to kind of catch that with the Reaper. The Adept's going to be here, but 2 Marines in the bunker already. That's enough firepower to shoot down that Adept pretty quickly. I do like that he skipped the shield battery. He's got the wall off on the high ground. Problem with this wall off is I think the Reaper can bounce himself across that pylon pretty easily. We'll see if Clem goes for that move. Second gate, Robo coming in, and it should be Blink starting up momentarily. Seeing the second gate in the Robo does kind of give away your build. Having the buildings on the natural is something Protoss players are used to, and it is kind of nice. But I think there's an argument on a big map like this, especially if your opponent didn't SCV scout or have that info from earlier, to hiding the tech in the main. The problem is you've only got 2 pylons this early, so can't really do it now. Oh, here we go. He's not going to blink across. That's actually a DT drop build, guys. Ooh, Dark Templar drop is going to be coming in. This is old school, baby. Now, the problem with Dark Templar builds, and this has been one of the big arguments for why Protoss is struggling at the moment, is that Terran don't die to Dark Templar builds very often anymore. And the reason is they build a Raven every game. Even going for a Widowmine drop, and Clem loves this one Widowmine drop opening, he usually then builds a Raven afterwards. Luckily for MaxPax, he's going to build a Tech Lab and then the Raven. That extra 18-second delay is important because, I mean, MaxPax is going to have a small window to get this damage done, a very small window. I don't think Clem's Spidey senses are tingling just yet, but he hasn't seen any Stalkers, so he's got to wonder. Does have to wonder. Single Widowmine drop coming. The Raven started. I mean, it's the problem with Dark Templar drop openings. Now, the argument is that Dark Templar and a Prism can still kill lots of units because, you know, they one-shot Marines, and these Marines don't have stim. But it's such a good Marine count. He's got 4 in the bunker on the natural. He's got 6 in a tank, about to be 8 in a siege tank in the main, and it just feels like this is too solid of a position for Clem, who right now is doing burrow on burrow micro, forcing a lot of lost mining time. Dark Templar walks in the natural. It's working on the bunker right now. He's going to get an SCV in the main and an SCV on the natural. Brings it up to 4 SCVs. Good in and out micro right now. MaxPax showing this man is not going to be left holding the bill for Terran's child support. No, no, no. Oh, the Dark Templar on the natural does barely get caught. He's trying to escape with the Prism. But look at this Clem. Clem's shepherding him in right now. Oh, Clem's shepherding him in. He's got to get out. The thing is, he knows there's a Viking building. I think he just has to recall this. Just can't find a way in. Good defense by Clem. I think this was an acceptable amount of damage. Actually, no. I still think this is bad for MaxPax. We'll see what he can do with it. Oh, Widowmine drop gets left in the main. Clem must have had a misclick, just left that idling there. And that Widowmine does go down just before it can finish burrowing. Where'd that Prism go? Oh no, guys, he didn't recall the Prism. He loses the Prism and the Dark Templar. That's terrible. That's terrible. He just lost it. You can see it there. So he's now lost 2 Dark Templar and the Warp Prism. Now, yeah, I was going to say except, I was like, he got some damage. Don't get me wrong. Mining time is good. 4 SCVs is not bad. But if you lose the Dark Templar and the Prism, it's terrible. Because now you've got this timer counting down, right? There's going to be a reactor on both of these buildings soon. 4th gas is coming up for Terran. He's got all of his upgrades going. And he doesn't really have any pressure on him. So MaxPax is trying to put that pressure on by saying, well, I'm going to probe my 3rd really quickly. And he does have a very nice economy. But he's also spent all the rest of his money on Stalkers, which aren't going to have an avenue to get any damage done. There's nothing they can do. Natural and main are both locked up tight. He has to go for the next step. And for now, it's just, hey, let's go to 6 gates. Let's go for charge. He'll add Immortals. Then he'll go for Colossus and Sentries. This is what MaxPax does in these scenarios. It feels to me like the work account advantage is very nice for him. But that stim timing is always something you got to be fearful of. Oh, good snipe there on the bunker. Doesn't lose a single Stalker yet. And a bunker, a couple of SCVs and a Marine, not too bad. Auto turret harass comes in, gets 2 probes, make it 3. Not bad at all there for CLEM. Stalker does go down though. 3rd command center building does tell us that CLEM wants to be quite defensive. His first 2 medevacs are going to pop. He's built 2 siege tanks. His Widow Mine production is starting to ramp up. Oh, another auto turret in the main. That's going to bring that Raven up to a lot of lost mining time and 6 kills. Whew, shield battery's going to go down in each base, but frustrating damage for MaxPax to deal with. CLEM is going to try and flank the Stalkers here. The Prism, I think it may have glimpsed that. Yep, he sees a Marauder there. Stalkers are going to need to make sure they don't get pincered. Would have liked to see him pick off that medevac, but oh, he's going to lose a few Stalkers. No concussive. No concussive just yet. The Adept decides to come forward to tank. You don't want to chase too far as CLEM. It's a very good pullback timing. Just before his stim runs out. We've got a Sentry and an Immortal on the way for MaxPax right now. CLEM looking very powerful with this push out. He's also got the 4th and 5th barracks already up. Did forget to build the reactor on the 5th barracks, but still pretty good for him. Stalker's trying to bait out some more stims, but CLEM isn't biting. CLEM is playing so patient, and he's got a 3rd behind this. He's not building SCVs as we speak, but he's up 25 to 30 army supply. That speaks for itself. A lot of Marauders, a lot of Marines, and the first Colossus not on the field. This game's feeling a little reminiscent of Ancient Cistern. Cleans up the pylon there on that 4th base location. Going to take out the gateway and the cybercore, and that's just extra money that MaxPax won't really be able to spare. He needs to build like 5 pylons right now. MaxPax is quite supply blocked at about 120 supply. He's got a lot of money there. He just warped in a few units, but doesn't have the supply right now to build another Colossus or anything like that. Extended Thermal Lance does start up. It's not anywhere nearby, though. Zealot's going to jump on top. Those tanks came very far forward. Felt like a bit of disarray for the Terran, but Protoss just doesn't have the numbers to punish. Battery in the natural will help. Is CLEM splitting himself too thin? He might be. CLEM going into the main like this is a bit of a crazy move. CLEM's trying to Mad Dog it right now. Mad Dog CLEM going into the main base. Those Marines are going walkabout. Marine Marauder coming in. Zealots go after the tanks and the mines. The Colossus is in the open. No force field in time. Oh, CLEM gets in there with that decisive maneuver, and MaxPax just isn't quick enough to handle it. The bio in the main is still alive, and MaxPax not able to find the damage there. Whoo! Not able to find the damage. That was a big issue. Big issue. Very well played there by CLEM. All right, guys. CLEM is looking large and in charge. The safety Raven really paying off big for him, man. On a smaller map, even a few seconds later on that Raven could have been game-changing, but he was so good at getting it and cleaning up the Prism as well. Down here in the bottom left side, MaxPax. It does feel to me, I think MaxPax's biggest weakness in this matchup, I would say, is that when the opening doesn't go well for MaxPax, I do feel that it's hard for him to bring the game back. If I had to like summarize MaxPax's issue in this matchup, it's that he's very, very solid and well-rounded, but he's exceptionally standard even when the early game hasn't gone his way. And I think against the very top Terrans, it often ends up being a battle of the early game for him, right? Like, if the early game goes poorly, I think it's very hard for him to come back against a guy like CLEM. And I'm not saying that, well, he should win half of his games after he's messed up the early game or fallen behind. Obviously, you shouldn't. But it feels like there's other players who are better at playing from behind in PvT. I don't really know the exact specifics because every player plays differently from behind and has different gambles and kind of adjustments they make, but be interesting to see if this game doesn't start as well. Is there some way he can switch things up to kind of shift it in his favor? Reaper's hanging out there. This is a Stargate opening for MaxPax. Reaper gets pushed back. It was a double gas opening for Clem. He's going to go straight for a Widow Mine. It was Reaper, Reactor, Factory, Starport. And Command Center did go down before the Starport as well. So it was about a 220 Command Center. Pretty much a TVT opening. Second Adept comes down. There's even a shield battery on the natural here for MaxPax. Now you might be wondering, why would he do that? Just because he saw the double gas. He did probe scout. He saw the double gas. And he said, you know what? Recall my probe. And basically just play that way. And oh, the Adept gets let in. But with a third and fourth Marine about to pop out, he doesn't want to throw an Adept away. So good choice to back off from that one. Phoenix are getting pumped out right now. It's going to be defensive Phoenix play. Adept tries to get itself in. And oh, did he see? Let's check the vision. Oh, he doesn't see the Stargate. Okay. You see two Adepts. I think MaxPax is probably pretty dedicated to almost always going two Adepts. So that in itself isn't too much of a tell. On the other hand, Clem's already going Cyclone anyway. So the man seems to have some spidey senses tingling. Phoenix is going to fly in. Let's see. Okay. Yep. You're building a Cyclone and a Viking. And he's going to go, damn it. Not the optimal position to be opening Stargate. On the other hand, Phoenix aren't like Oracle openings. You're not trying to dive the worker line nearly as much. Just going to keep building Phoenix. A very quick third and fourth gas. Went down at about 3 minutes 30. And the Robo coming in. And a well-timed pylon there. Though I don't like the positioning. Just a little bit of prediction, guys. If he panic recalls to this base at some point, he could get a bunch of units stuck in there. And he also, if he rallies awkwardly off the Colossus, right now I think it's okay, but if he rallies to the left at all, Colossus might pop out there. And that's going to be a really dumb thing. If you get a Colossus or an Immortal trapped in there. Oh, Phoenix coming in. Looks like the Reaper's going down in this game. Nothing else. 2 Cyclones, back of Marines, and a Widowmine coming. 3 racks behind it. Clem's going to go straight for Stim and Shields. He says, hey, if you're playing Stargate, you don't have Blink. I don't need tanks for safety. I can play super duper greedy. First Immortal's getting chrono boosted right now, but it's not out. 3 Adepts and a Stalker. Good pullbacks. If you break Clem's vision, those lock-ons do get broken. And with 4 Phoenix, if you overcommit, you can end up in big doo-doo. Ooh. Okay, double Cyclone coming forward. Does maintain the lock-ons for a few seconds, but the battery's doing just great. It would have been cool to see MaxPax slam the hammer on this. I really feel he could A-move this with these units, bring the Phoenix in and kill all of that. It's not that big an army. Right now, Clem is attacking with the worst force. Now, Clem's specialty in StarCraft is attacking with a weaker army and somehow making it okay. It's also how he throws games away. It's also when we go, oh, Clem, why are you attacking? Just defend for a moment. That's because he does the same thing. But he has a nasty habit of making it pay off. And he catches MaxPax. MaxPax is like, are you serious? Dude, you know I have Phoenix. I can't believe you would risk doing that move. And Clem's just there smiling at himself saying, I already got 5 probes. Now, even if I lose this drop, it's not all that bad. And he's not even going to lose it. He's going to get home. Oh, man. 5 probes going down is very painful when you're doing a 2-base build. You want to already have your 3rd base started. You don't want to be spending your money rebuilding those workers. So very nicely played by Clem. Does hit a little bit of a supply block behind it, but he's got +1 on the way. Stim and Shields are finishing up. Medevacs hitting the field. And if he can get out there with a big Bioforce before the Colossus are really doing too much, that'll be great. A couple of Marines still out there. They've got Stim and Shields. The Colossus laser says, get out of here. They quickly run away. The Phoenix is going to try and hunt this down. But the rest of Clem's army is coagulating on this area of the map. We've got all those little red Terran blood cells starting to collect down here. Oh, the Phoenix pick up all the Marines. Nice move. No, this is a bad move for Clem. You see the way Clem stimmed at that army that was 3 times the size of his and high attack guys? That's why Clem is known as a crazy mad dog. Because he's like the little house cat that chases the bear off the front porch. You know, the bear's looking through your garbage. And you see those videos of the little cat jump forward and like start hissing, and the bear just freaks out and runs away because it's like, I don't know what's happening, but that thing doesn't seem scared of me, so I guess I should be scared of it. Clem trying that, but MaxPax, of course, is not a bear. He's smarter than a wild animal. So he just pulls back after getting a great trade, picks off a bunch of SCVs with the Phoenix. Now MaxPax is in a killer spot. Forge and Twilight on the way, 3rd base finishing up. His work account's not amazing, only 53, but that'll be changing. He's going to be chronoing probes in a little bit, and you can see there, beautiful, beautiful, clean macro follow-up for him. Only 2 gateways, but he's still building Phoenix. This is not just like, oh, I need charge. No, he's got like mass Phoenix Colossus coming in. 3rd Colossus, extended thermal lance. Remember, there is that extra range on the extended thermal lance, which is really big. But, this might be perfect for Clem if he goes and drops in the main from this angle. MaxPax doesn't see it right now. MaxPax has no observers on this map. Okay, MaxPax should see it. If he didn't see it then, he will now. Barely sees it. Phoenix are all going to pull back towards the main. Ground army still ready on the third. He can't pull his whole army to the main, though. At this point in the game, that's just a drop. You can't pull your whole army away, MaxPax. Shield battery probably will be going down, but Clem's got to be careful about overcommitting. Ooh, Widow Mines gets some juicies. Takes out a few gateway units, but no armory done just yet, so that does all go down. Cybercore and a gateway. Losing that is not the end of the world for MaxPax. He's okay with that. Clem's macro is so on point, though. Look how low his money is. His third command center is only just down, and yet he's still up in supply. He's just going to transfer tons of workers over. And now that he's got 2 squads out on the map, this is the point in the game where I feel like because Clem's so in your face, he can have a worse army than you at a few points, but because you're stuck defending, by the time you realize you've got a stronger army, you might go across the map, and he's already gotten out, 8 Vikings to counter your Colossus, 12, 14 Vikings to counter your Colossus. In this case, he's going to need a lot of Vikings. He's only got 2 out so far, and there's 9 Phoenix on the map. Those Phoenix, oh, killing the Vikings would actually be really nice. He's going to just pick up the Marines to start. The Widow Mine's going to punish him for that. I don't know if this was worth it for MaxPax. If he gets 2 more Vikings, maybe. Does take out another one. The Cyclone, he got both of those. So he gets 3 Vikings in total. 1 Viking survives, gets a few Marines. Phoenix count, he loses, I believe, 4 of them in that trade. He'd already lost 1 earlier in this game. So 5 Phoenix are remaining. He's building more of them. There's 4 Colossus on the field. Remember that charge in +1 is done, and now that MaxPax has all these warp gates up as well, he's got a good amount of production. Looks like about 8 gateways. 4th base starting. High Templar going to warp in as well, so Archons will join the fray, but Ghosts are also about to pop. So Clem's on point with his production. He sees the 4th base timing. He knows that he can't really fight against the Colossus head-to-head right now. He does start a 2nd starport. I think really good EMPs are definitely going to be necessary for Clem in this game. He doesn't have an armory either, so he's stuck on 1-1 upgrades. And that makes me think he really will look for just a very big, decisive, maxed out engagement on 1-1. Land some EMPs across the army and then just blitz in. But, oh, it's a lot of Marine Marauder to stumble into Protoss in the middle of the map. Clem quickly F2s everything home, going, oh no, that was not good for me. Cyclone's going to stumble through the army. Phoenix will pick it up and take it out. Zealot run-by on the left gets cleaned up. I feel like Terrans are so good at blocking those run-bys these days. Oh, big move for Clem. Clem's going to cancel the 4th base. He lifts his 3rd, pulls back his SCVs. If your army's weaker in a head-to-head trade because you don't really have a good answer to the Colossus Phoenix, best to drag it out. But, oh, the Vikings go a little bit far forward. Archons get some big juicy shots, wounding them all and taking down some of those Vikings. Does do a recall, does MaxPax. Losing your 4th base sucks. Losing 11 probes sucks, but doesn't want to overcommit into the EMPs. Who does that trade favor? I really don't know, because it's not like we have double forge. MaxPax is only making a single upgrade. Oh, that Colossus did get trapped, by the way. A Colossus and an Archon did recall there, so that pylon positioning I told you guys about did indeed cage his units. I feel like Clem buying time for himself is kind of good. The lack of the armory scares me, but the fact that there's only 1 forge means it's not like he's falling way behind. There's still only 1 robo as well, and this is something. MaxPax is one of the slowest players to ever add a 2nd robo. He's always about just having lots of gateway units, lots of Archon, Zealot, Stalkers, constantly dropping, and he'll just keep chronoing 1 disruptor at a time. Finally, the 2nd robo goes down here at the 3rd base. Building more batteries as well, trying to cement his position. Turret there does get a shot off. The prism drop comes into the main base. There's a ghost nearby. Here we go. Things are going to heat up yet again. What a fantastic game 4 we have here. Remember, MaxPax is fighting for his life. He's got to win the next 2 games in a row. Clem only needs 1 win to take it. Dodges a disruptor shot. Very nice dodge there. Another ball does go flying. And it's all about this big fight. The batteries are not here. They're not ready just yet. MaxPax seems to be outnumbered. The Vikings are going to town. The Phoenix seem to have went down before the fight even started. And Clem, so decisive, just pushing on through. Battery overcharge goes down. The Vikings don't care. There's 6 of them. They shoot right through that battery overcharge. And Clem might just be able to take it right here, right now. Yes, the Zealot's charge didn't kill a few SCVs. Yes, there's a prism in the main, but it goes down. Clem pushing through there. Those disruptor shots were just a little bit too early, I think, for MaxPax. I think he needed to hold on to his balls for just a little bit longer and wait for the perfect moment, or at least just spread them out a little bit more to delay the engagements. But there's always that awkward moment where they have enough Vikings to shoot down your Phoenix. The Vikings have longer range, and suddenly your army's not so powerful. Fantastic ball to the face there for MaxPax. This man fights very, very well from behind, but Clem is just too strong today, looking so solid. And very nice movement there. Stalkers do defend the Liberator. Clem might not have a lot of bases, but he's just got so much army supply that essentially you need like 3 or 4 more really amazing disruptor shots. Building Archon's usually good, but not when there's Ghosts out. And with 3 Ghosts out, that's going to be amazing for Clem. Tries to go for the ambush disruptor. Doesn't quite land there for MaxPax. He's down at half the army supply. A lot of his army Stalkers and Archons, units that are hard counted right now. And he's trying to make miracle happen. 2 balls and a dream. Clem, though, he's got fast hands. His Marines and Marauders have quick feet. And I very much doubt these disruptors are going to be landing anytime soon. The moment it goes off, he immediately moves into punish, gets a disruptor. Beautiful micro by Clem. On the backside, it looks like some Zealots clear up a few Vikings before getting cleaned up by the rest of the units there. And Clem, unperturbed on the front, gets in, gets out, gets in, gets out, and just keeps on taking them down. That was a really close action-fought, hard-fought game. But as I said, even when you've got the Colossus advantage, Clem just does not let you take the fight to him. That forcing MaxPax to recall, denying the 4th, such a key point in that game. Really well played.